Hi, welcome to Clutter Bravado.
Yes, and it's the energy. It's not just about the stuff.
So we should probably just get into it, right?
Let's go.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What's happening? How's your day been?
day has been good.
Yes.
Busy and productive.
Yes.
And a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall, what about you?
Honestly, I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I'm not going to go into this too much. We have a really cool guest today, but I will say marathon training has me sore. My body is sore. I'm sore today. But other than that, I do want to get into our guest pretty quickly here because our guest is Peter Gurski. He is a set decorator. He's worked in television for a very long time, and he is a fascinating character. Have you ever been on television before?
No.
Yes.
No. Oh, yes. For 30 seconds.
I love that I know that and I've never seen it and you forgot about it entirely.
For 30 seconds, I was in the role of an antique dealer who was extremely nervous with Mary McDonald on $1 Million Decorator. And
Beautiful.
I did a fine job, sweaty and all.
Sweaty and all.
Yep.
I still haven't watched it.
Well,
Actually, you know what? As soon as we're done shooting this today,
You wanna
I
find it?
want to go find it. We'll go look at it together.
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Great. You know what? As a nervous antique dealer, I should have gotten an Emmy, but
That's a little different though because they were filming it at your place of work. So you weren't like on set,
right.
right? I haven't done any like TV per se. But I have done a lot of commercials. And I had this one commercial that I did in, oh God, what was that? Like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And it was so cool because the set was really neat. And it was like a birth control commercial or something like that. But all of the sets for each character, they were a completely different color and everything on the set was all the same color. And on screen, it looks really cool. And in person, it looked super bizarre. It was really weird and really neat though. There's a lot of magic that happens behind the scenes when it comes to set designing and set decorating. So
And I'll go look for that commercial. Can I still find it?
it's actually a really funny one. I don't know if you know, it hasn't aired in a long time. You can find it. Like I probably have a link to it somewhere.
It was nice because it was combining Hollywood with our interior design podcast. So that was great. We also got to go to the taping, which was super fun.
It was so fun. It was so fun. And he gave us like a little half tour afterward. They had their like wrap party. So we weren't on the crew. But we got to take a little look around and that was really neat because you see how much work goes into creating the set and then also how many little details there are. And I love that we got to talk to Peter about that too.
And I don't know, being in the crowd, being able to see the work of the actors and the cameras and, everything that goes into that sitcom was really inspiring.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to air.
I know.
Actually, by the time
that this airs, yes, it will be out because it's coming out very, very soon. So March 28th.
28th, yeah.
Yeah, so 28th, it will be released and it's mid-century modern on Hulu. You can find it on Hulu.
And what we saw was really fun. It was really fun.
Really funny.
Smartly
Really
written,
good.
Really good.
Yes.
The actors are fantastic.
And honestly, nothing will stop me from having a crush on Matt Bomer. Nothing will stop me.
Nothing will stop me either.
I know. We have that in common. That's really sweet. Anyway, we should probably get to it, yeah?
Let's go.
Welcome to Clutter Bravado. We are here with Peter Gurski. Finally, we have you on the show.
The day has come.
First, I love you so much. So that's important for me to get out of the way.
It's the Mutual Love Society.
I do too.
Aw.
Well,
You guys have been friends forever, though.
That includes you.
You guys have been friends for how long?
I don't know.
Before the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, way before the pandemic.
10 years. I knew him when more right?
Than that.
I knew him when he had a brick and mortar on La Brea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, I know him from there, yeah.
It's been 14 years probably.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that you guys just lose track. You just like in each other's lives.
Well, it's the LA
friends.
way.
I know
it's
it
the
is.
LA way, isn't it? You
Time
kind of come
stands
and
still
go.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Peter was on my pod during COVID.
Oh, he was in your pod.
Yes, I was a
Yeah.
pod.
I like
All the
that.
secret parties going on.
Yeah, but then we did some on Zoom. I remember that. That was not as much fun. But
No, but I had actually had 2 pods going. I had this pod and I had another pod over here. But this pod over here was mainly about karaoke. So
Okay.
I had a karaoke pod and a social pod.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you have 2 pods, then you just have one big pod. That's how that works. Whatever. We don't have to go into the politics of how pods
Politics
work.
of potty.
But I know you because I met you here, I think, and at a few different outings, and you're always impeccably dressed. Okay, so who are you? What do you do? You are a set decorator.
Correct.
And you've been the head of art department for a lot of different films and TV shows and things like that, too.
Yes, my title has changed here and there over the years, but mainly my focus has been as a set decorator.
Yeah.
And mostly on multicam classic American sitcoms.
Okay, I want to talk about the sitcom.
Okay, great.
Because right now, we'll say this right out of the gate. You were set decorator for Mid-Century Modern, which is a brand new sitcom that is
New show, we
on
love it.
Hulu.
Yeah.
And just launched. So exciting. And we got to see a taping of it. And
Yes.
that was my first
Front
time.
row. And front
Front
row.
row.
front
Yeah.
row.
It was the coolest experience. It was 8 hours, but it was the coolest experience getting to see how it's done
Right.
because it's so much like theater. And so
That's why I love it.
it's so fun.
That's why I love it, because I come from theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start there.
Okay.
Tell me about your theater experience and how that inspired you to get into television.
Okay, it really goes back further than that.
Okay.
It goes back to 5th grade, and I won the school-wide contest for designing the backdrop for the school play, which, get this, just happened to be an adaptation of The Mikado by Gilbert and Sullivan.
I don't know what that is. I need to be a better theater geek.
Classic, okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Wikipedia.
Give me I don't know.
It's
okay.
Gilbert and Sullivan were way ago, way before the 50s. They were classic musical theater.
Okay.
So, Mikado's basically it's a love story, gone wrong, like all good plays.
All good love
all good
stories.
stories. It's a.
I think they did one for Romeo and Juliet.
It's something like that. Yeah, it's the same story. You just change the characters a little bit.
So with this drawing that you did, like the backdrop, what did it look like?
So you had to do 2 paintings on 8.5 by 11 paper.
Okay.
One was for a courtyard scene, and one was for like a village scene or something. So I did 2 drawings, and being the art prodigy I was, with 2-point perspective, I illustrated what was required, and of course, slayed the competition.
Naturally.
The 5th grade competition.
It's the things that you do when you're like that age that you excel at that I feel like even for me, like those are things that I still love to do.
Right?
It's where your personality starts to sort of grow and you start to get really good at something.
You figure it out, to figure it out, right? So, but then I was in community theater and built sets in community theater. And by the time I got to university, I was building sets backstage, and my minor is actually in theater arts. My major is I'm a painter.
Oh wow!
By degree, minor degree, drawing and painting. I'm a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm still a bachelor.
He's available, gentlemen. Okay, so your background in theater.
Yes.
And on the sets and working in used to call it the tech, like the people that are doing
tech.
The behind the scenes. Yeah. Did you ever get on stage?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a bit of a failed actor. So when I got to university, since I'd been in community theater, I was like, I'm going to try out for this play. They had open tryouts for Dracula, which, okay. So I was trying out for some minor part. And they said to me after my audition, they said, you know what? They need help backstage. I was like, oh.
Did you try again after that, though?
Not really, because I really fell in love with backstage.
Yeah.
The whole backstage life, creating the sets, creating the illusion of theater.
Yeah.
Being a part of that opening night, the curtain goes up and all that jazz. So I really loved that. Now, later on, I have done some in front of the camera work as a host for some different design shows.
Yes, I have seen. I've seen a little bit of that. You have a fantastic personality. That's another reason why I really wanted to have you on the show, because you're great on camera. You're so fun, and
I give it all away.
But I love that you excel so much behind the scenes, and that feeling that you get when the curtain goes up.
Yeah.
I also I have that similar feeling. I was also a musical theater, a theater nerd in high school, and did a little bit in college. But during that, there was 1 year that the casting didn't work out the way I wanted it to, and so I ended up backstage, and I was doing sound and the curtain pulled and all that stuff. So, and changing the sets and stuff. And I found that I still got that same rush that you get from being on stage.
Sure.
The performance is so much fun. And when you're present there for the performance, even on multi-camera, like TV show, do you still get that feeling when you're recording?
Yes, absolutely. Because there's a showtime and we don't really have a curtain that goes up. There's actually a curtain that goes in front of the set, and then it gets removed. Yeah. But it's the same feeling. We start and we go from start to finish in order for the audience, and we're telling a story.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of special. We're all there on the darkened stage, focused on these beautifully lit sets, beautifully art directed, beautifully decorated sets, and these wonderful actors telling a story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's classic.
Speaking of storytelling, I'm so curious about the story of how you landed Will and Grace. So you were the set decorator on Will and Grace, which is a pretty big show, you could say.
Yes.
Kind of a cultural phenomenon. So I'm so curious what it was like getting onto that show, and then as it progressed, as you grew with it, what that experience was like for you.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due first. Actually, Will and Grace, as you know, had two different parts. The original series, which ran till about 2006, and then the revival series, which is what I set decorated, was the next 3 years. I worked on the original Will and Grace for the first 4 years. Stay with me, and it's a little complicated. As the lead person, which is the crew boss, and you run the crew, and you assist the decorator, and you track the budget. And I work for an extremely talented person, Melinda Ritz, who sort of reinvented how you decorate a sitcom set. Because most folks at that point in time would go to prop houses and stuff. And Melinda wanted a much more authentic New York look, and she was the one that really started going to the showrooms here in Los Angeles and using furniture out of the showrooms, sort of raising the decorating bar and the quality of the furnishings and art and fixtures that you saw on a sitcom set. Because if you go back in history and go back and look at stuff from the 70s and 80s, I mean, besides them being on a lot of coke, which could have affected the quality of the sets, but it was a much sparser look. And part of that is the way the audience consumes it now. Now they can rewatch, they can binge watch. So you really have to have the details correct.
Yeah. And
come with a lot more detail, because you can't really have a set that's half empty that they're going to look at. Like the artwork has to be authentic, the furnishings, how the design is, like everything has to be on point, especially with this new show which is showcasing a Palm Springs lifestyle of someone who is well off.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't just go get something out of the prop house that's a little tatty around the edges. It just won't play. And plus, the new technologies are totally unforgiving to actors
Absolutely.
and couches.
Yeah.
Like, that digital format is a killer.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to, it can
Yeah.
read the texture off of the velour, you know.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cotton velour. That's not silk velour. Oh, no.
So, okay. So so she started it off in
Yes.
the first
Yes.
season. And so when you did the revival for the show, I guess, was that considered a promotion?
That was considered a promotion.
Okay.
And by then I was sort of mentoring. She was mentoring me.
Okay.
And then at some point, we had an argument. Sorry, Melinda. Where I complained about something she was doing. Like I was criticizing her, which isn't very nice of me, but I was in a bad mood or something. I don't know. But she goes,
happen?
you know what? If you don't like it, you should probably go out on your own now. Like, you need to go. Push me out of the nest.
Oh, wow.
But that was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the guts to do it on my own. And she kind of gave me a kick and off I went. So it worked out for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a mentor to, you know, once they teach you what they have to teach you, you have to go.
Yeah.
And for the record, Melinda is also a very good interior designer.
Yes.
Not just a set decorator.
Yes.
She's
No,
very
I don't
talented.
mean to miss
No,
that
no,
part.
no.
Yeah.
But because
Yeah.
having worked with her, she's
Yeah.
uber talented also. She's a
She's
great eye.
very, very, very talented. Very talented.
As are you also. As
Yes.
an interior designer, not
But
just a
it
set
came-
decorator.
it
We'll
came-
get to that for sure.
We'll get to that.
No,
All right.
it came from Melinda. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where my other question comes in, because you were working in art department, you're learning from her. Do you think that you learned most of what your style is now, or how you approach working as a set decorator, that comes directly from her, or that you've pulled from other influences as well?
I pulled from other influences as well. And I think, and I know this sounds corny to say it this way, but I feel like some of it's just organic. It's just built in
Yeah.
to my DNA. I'm good with a lot of color. I'm good with scale. I'm good with layouts and placement. I mean, it's just, like a lot of designers or decorators, I can imagine a space in my head in 3D. I dream in color.
Oh.
So, so part of that. But Melinda taught me really a lot of things about the business of designing, how to deal with a reluctant producer, how to sell an idea, and how to push ahead when you have a lot of resistance to something you want to do, but you know it's right. And I watched her get a lot of stuff on a set that there were some naysayers about it, or maybe it was going to cost too much or something. But she never let any of that stand in the way of a great idea. And so that was an important thing that she taught me.
Yeah.
Because on the new show, you've pushed the envelope. I mean, there's some really good pieces and good stuff there.
I thank you. Thank you so much for that. It means a lot from you. It was funny the way it evolved, because the producers are very involved in the design and how they wanted the look to end up looking. And through my affiliation with Save Iconic Architecture, I know Ron Woodson was here, Ron and Jamie.
Yes.
I've been exposed to a lot more mid-century houses than I had been before. And we'd had some fundraisers at Dinah Shore's estate, I think, which was done by Donald Wexler. Right. So it's inspired by that house, Dinah Shore's Donald Wexler house. So you can see the production designer, Glenda Ravello, actually, some of the stone pillars that you see and the sunken living room are all inspired by that actual house in Palm Springs, which I think Leonardo DiCaprio owns now.
Oh, so fancy.
That's the rumor.
So with that set, I mean, I got to see it in person and to walk around certain parts of it. And there is absolutely no detail that is missing. So you were talking a little bit about this, like the way it used to be that you'd go to a prop house, you grab the things that you need, and they can be a little bit rough around the edges. But with this, you're down to, I mean, even in the bedroom, there are earrings and necklaces. So how much of that are you going in and picking every single part, like every single detail of that? Or is that something that you sort of create a vibe and then you have a team that's working with you in order to find those little things?
Well, I have a very talented crew. I have a very talented team. I have a lead person, and on mid-century, or as we call it, MCM, mid-century modern, MCM. Heather is my very tough crew boss. As a matter of fact, all my crew kids are, of course, younger than I am, and she's the father and I'm the mother, because she is in the traditional sense, she's the tough one. And then I have a shopper, Alex Grande, and she's very talented. She's a very hustler. She gets across town faster in a car than anyone I know.
That's a talent.
That is a talent.
That's very much a talent here in Los Angeles, and very good on the digits. And then I have set dressers, my boys, I like to call them, who are very talented and have very talented hands. I like to say, now don't get upset with me, I like to say a good set dresser has gay hands, meaning they're nimble and they kind of know what to do. Because more so, like when you're doing an interior for a residence, it's very polished, it can be very minimal, there's no clutter, but you still have to convey the personality or the design that the client wants, right? But in a sitcom or a film or a television show, you're promoting the script. And what is that character in the script, right? And you have to do that not only with the furnishings or what the apartment looks like or what the house looks like. You have to have like all that personal jazz that's around. The phone charger, the thing, the magazines, the snack plate left over from the other day, or stuff in the drawers. So I love to do all of that personality stuff, because when I'm doing an interior, it's a different goal. Right. But for a show, I'm the client, so I get to do what I think is best for the character.
So on a show like MCM where you've
got the lingo.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I worked for 8 hours on that show in the audience.
Listen,
I laughed for 8 hours.
That was a fast show. I'm sorry that they bring you in so early. I should have shuttled you in a little bit later, but I did get you snacks.
You did.
You did. And you know what? It was super fun. And it was fun to be. It's fun to be. It's the second time I'm part of your show.
Well, they have a comedian that keeps everybody warmed up.
You have to get the whole experience, because it's like.
But I was so surprised that you hadn't ever been. So it was like,
I know.
So great for you.
It was a life-changing experience. I'm not going to lie, because it made me I want to be there all the time. Like it made me want to act again so badly.
Right?
Yeah.
But who's the guy who does the warm-up?
Yes.
That was like, that's because when I visited you the first time on the other show, that was blown away by that person.
Yeah.
Who takes that audience of, I don't know how many of us are there, 80 people, about 70 people?
No, that's like 120.
120.
Yeah.
And his job is to make you laugh, keep you up. And it's such an incredible, and it worked.
Yeah.
Just an incredible talent.
Yeah. Because what happens is, of course, they film the first pass of the script, and based on a live audience's reaction, they make adjustments to a joke if it didn't get a laugh, or another line, or trim something, or put something else in.
But it was fantastic. But no, so on MCM,
look at that, the lingo.
Let it be. So you get the script, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step. You get the script, and then you have to imagine the space. What's your process on that? Because it's such, it feels like, to me, okay, blank canvas.
Right, blank canvas. And where do you begin? Well, it all begins, I'm going to say this to camera, it all begins with the words. It's the script. Max and David, it's the script. Thank you. It's all about the words. So the script is your guide. And then the production designer, who I work in conjunction with, will show me the set drawings, give me some guidance in terms of looks. He'll put together a little look board from images now from the internet, which makes it so easy.
Yeah.
And then I'll begin to shop it, myself and the shopper. So, buyer is the correct term. Me and the buyer, and the buyer and I. So we just go out into the world. And I'll know by looking at something if it's a swing set, like if we have a store or a bedroom or something, where to go. Now, usually I start by going to Warner Brothers, which is my favorite prop house, and really, to me, the most complete. When you think of a prop house, it's really Warner Brothers. And then there's Universal Studios I go to, and then all the shops. I like to go to the shops now.
Right.
So.
Okay, yeah. That's really
Nikki
cool.
Kehoe et al. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nikki Kehoe is a fantastic
Lawson
showroom.
Fenning is really friendly to us. I go to a place called Objects out in the valley that Fred runs.
And you had a place in Palm Springs that you went to as well. There was two people
so
that were next to us. Yeah.
For this project, I thought, you know what? I really, really need to be authentically shopping in Palm Springs. So I went out there, and the pandemic's been tough for everybody, and especially out there. Now, I love Dragonette. I loved going there. So I went there and I was able to buy some really cool tchotchkes.
Cool.
I bought this one really cool, because Nathan Lane's character is in his 50s. And so on his bedside table, I gave him a little reading magnifying glass. But I bought it at Dragonette because it's shaped like a paintbrush. Like the handle is brass, and then the magnifying part is where the brush bristles would be.
I love that.
So
yeah,
and
that's so thoughtful.
Right? So I
was not going to say that it's the shape of a brush. I was like,
I know, I didn't think he was going to say brush
I wasn't going to say shape of a penis. No way.
Well, that's what I thought you were going to say.
There is a statue, though, isn't there?
What's that?
There is a statue, though.
There was a statue. We don't talk about that now. It's been digitally altered. Okay, so the pilot episode had a part in it where they refer to a statue when they come in. And it was a joke because it's on the streaming network. And it was supposed to be a penis statue because he makes a joke when he comes in the house. So the production designer was like, oh, fine, you handle it. So, well, yes, you handle it. So the prop master on the show is actually a sculptor for props as well. So I drew a sketch, and
you drew a sketch of a penis.
Well, yeah, of how it would look, because it was supposed to look like it was carved out of a block of stone, of marble, like a statue of David or something, but only more well endowed. But so it was about that big. So, but they had guidelines. It couldn't be veiny and no pubic hair. So you can cut that out. You can cut that part out.
Really big.
Suffice it to say that they decided that the show had a lot more potential than they originally thought, I think. Maybe it could be appeal to a broader audience. So they've turned that into something else. So it's maybe not offending to some viewers. So they can hit a wider age range.
Here's the thing about that, actually, because that's something that really stood out to me. So when you watch sitcoms, for the most part, they were on network television.
Right.
They can't say certain words. They can allude to certain things for sure, but it's talking around something and letting the audience use its imagination. For this show, there are a few jokes and moments that I was like, oh, like I'm not one to clutch my pearls, but I was just like a little bit taken aback. I'm like, oh my God, they can say that?
Very adult. However, they have the ability to shoot an alternative line or maybe snip it here and there if they decide they want to broadcast it somewhere else, which I guess would be great. But for right now, we're just so glad that it'll be premiering on the 28th, and we'll get to see what the whole world thinks.
Yeah. So. I think it's going to be very well received because not only is it beautiful, it's great. I mean, and also the casting is incredible. I mean, to have Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, and then
Nathan Lee Graham.
I love
He was
so
fantastic.
great. He's so funny. The casting is incredible. And then the story of how the show has actually been made throughout, like from the first episode throughout. I mean, we're not going to spoil anything, but there are some few like obvious obstacles in filming the show.
Well, everyone knows that our dear Linda Lavin passed away over the holiday break, and we weren't quite finished with the season. And since it was such a public death, they worked it into the show. And Linda actually had a conversation with Max and David when she found out she was ill, and said, you know, do anything you want to be able to tell the story, which was really special. And they actually had some footage from an episode that we hadn't aired yet, and they sort of reworked that, and they had a couple other scenes left over from somewhere they hadn't used, so they put together a really cohesive storyline to help it carry forward. And I think it was a tribute to the writing, and it was a tribute to Linda in the way they handled it and honored her long career. Recently, I think it was the Belasco Theater, they dimmed the lights for her on Broadway. So that was very special. And here's the stupid funny thing, is that she'd been living in my neighborhood, but on the more posh side of the road.
Yeah.
My end of this long street is a little more bohemian. And about 2 years ago, her and her husband moved in across the street from me. So we'd be dragging our garbage cans out on Wednesday morning, both in our bathrobes and, you know, no makeup. And we'd chat about the show. So it was so sweet. It was so fun. We miss her so much.
Yeah. And I do think that this being like the last project that she worked on too, I feel like she did such an incredible job, because I saw some clips from it, one of the episodes that she was in, which is unreal. She's a legend. And also because it really does honor her, and it respects her own personal story as well, I feel like. So yeah, it's
amazing. It was amazing to watch her work, because even for someone who'd been in the business for so long, really worked at her scripts.
Yeah.
Like, didn't take it for granted. See her after the scene was over, working on the script, working out her blocking. But all the actors, Nathan Lee Bomer is so funny, and Nathan Lee Graham. I stumbled over my words because I had to say Matt Bomer again, because he is so handsome in person.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Oh, stop it. Both of us were just like...
such a nice guy, like so down to earth. So nice. They're all so nice. And Nathan Lane comes in early in the morning. We're all still running around, dusting, getting the sets ready, final dressing. Nathan Lane comes in. He's got his little coffee and maybe a Danish or something. Sits down in the set at the kitchen table.
Really?
Minds his business, looks at his script, checks his emails. So sweet, like an hour before he has to be there, just to kind of absorb.
Soak it in.
Yeah.
I mean, I was blown away, you know, the set design and the technical part, and seeing all the writers, you know, that night. But the acting, I was really blown away. To me, it's, so I'm not an artist in that way. And a singer, usually I look at them, I'm like, how does something, you know, so beautiful comes out of your mouth? And then the actor, I had the same feeling of like, how do you think on your feet that way? How can you just convey that emotion? And you know, they had also parts where they rewrite, where they have to adjust on the fly. And they just show up, and it just looks like they've been rehearsing for, you know, hours. And it's just natural. It was really, I was inspired. I mean, I was really like 8 hours out. It went by so fast, because there was a lot for me that was inspiring on so many levels.
There's a lot to absorb, and we have the legendary Jimmy Burrows directing for us, who is the godfather of the American sitcom.
Does he wear a suit every day?
No, the guys are very casual.
Okay,
because
he had a suit on.
Well,
it was the series, or the season finale. So.
That harkens back to the olden days. Everybody wore a suit, even the cameramen. But on show night, he dresses, because it's like theater.
Yeah.
Right.
His father was the very famous Abe Burrows, who was a famous lyricist for Broadway. Any major 50s musical was it has an imprint of Abe Burrows on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes from a theater family, knowing that. And it's kind of funny the way he became a director, but for a different medium other than theater, than an actual live stage. So he treats it like a broadcast. So conversely, like I like to dress for show night, and they make the camera guys, not make them, sorry, union, they request that they wear all black so that they're not distracting to the actors. But then I have a crew person who's there to make sure all the chairs are on their marks and the pillows are fluffed and everything. And I request that he dresses a little better because he's in contact with the actors, and the audience sees him. And I just want it to be to telegraph that we're here and it's serious for us. Like, this is our living.
Yes. And I think that there's so much that's lost when we lose like the personal style and like putting yourself together. I mean, even for this podcast, I try to like dress up a little, you know,
well, it's
and I'm going to be on
protocol.
camera.
Yeah, it's protocol.
Yeah. But anywhere, I think there are a lot of work environments these days that aren't really encouraging that sort of like dressing up for it anymore. Like people hardly ever wear suits. And I think that everyone should wear suits.
Well,
I need to wear a lot more
It's proper.
suits.
It's proper.
I love it. I love your suit. I love, you're just, and you're always, every time that I see you, you have such an intentional piece on. There's something that you've put together.
Very intentional.
Yes, I love
talk
it.
about that a little bit, because you did a few, when was it that you did a few posts on Instagram where you showed off your
I was
wardrobe,
bored. I was posting my looks every day because it was cold and I was wearing layers and I was just goofing around
but it was
with
fun,
someone
though.
at Warner Brothers. So it was fun. But it goes back to, I can show you some pictures of myself from back in the day. You would not believe it was me because
I looked at a lot of them today.
Flannels and a lot of corduroy and flannels.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't see any of those.
I didn't see any of those.
Internet's been scrubbed clean. So this goes back to my time at a show called Good Luck Charlie, which was for Disney. Huge kids show back in the 2000 somethings.
Okay.
And
2000, I went to one of the taping with Chloe.
Yes, when was that? She was just little, right? She was like 10 or 12?
Yeah, she was 12 probably. So
yeah, it was a huge show, right?
It was a huge show.
Yeah. So I had I was dressed very casually, and then one of the kids who played one of the sons, he was probably 12. He was very chatty and precocious. And I thought to myself, fuck this. Like F-U-C-K this. Like, this kid makes, I don't know, at the time, 60 grand a week, 80 grand a week. Like, I don't want to chat with you. Leave me alone. So, right? So I started wearing a jacket and a tie because then the kids thought, oh, he's a studio executive and I don't want to pal around.
Oh, sure.
I don't want to teach you card games, kid, or teach you how to swear or whatever it is you're looking for. No, I'm not buying you liquor. Those actor kids are precocious.
Oh my gosh. I love that you're wearing a suit so that you can intimidate a child.
Not intimidate. Oh.
I'm kidding.
No, deflect.
Yes, okay.
Deflect.
Yes. It provides an air of authority.
I call it
yes.
Inform and deflect. Inform and deflect.
Oh, I love that.
They were the ones that were intimidating with their enormous salaries and.
To be honest with you, kids are terrifying.
They're terrifying, yes. Especially actor kids. Terrifying.
Oh my God.
Terrifying.
Okay, so we've gotten off the track a little bit, but I want to get us back on to the best of my ability.
I'll talk about anything.
We should just. Do you want to just co-host with me for like a week? I love it. So I wanted to talk about the actors. On the show.
Okay.
So you mentioned a little bit that like Nathan Lane would come in and he would just have a seat at the table and have a cup of coffee and sort of live in the space. When I in some of the acting that I've done, and I took this incredible acting class that encouraged you to fully create either in your mind or like putting props out that you have a personal connection to that's going to remind you of something so that you're able to like access that sort of like
sort
emotional,
of methoding.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's in very small ways.
Yeah.
And so there was like this one scene that I had done where I was looking everywhere to find a pack of cigarettes. And it's this great, great scene. And I love it so much.
I believe that scene so many times.
but just like
I've
looking.
lived that scene with other things. Not anymore.
We
past
all have.
that. Not anymore.
But looking everywhere to try to find, because, you know, my character was so frustrated and angry about something and didn't want to talk about it, but just needed a cigarette. And each time I would have my, like, somebody else hide them for me. Like generally in this area.
Oh, fun.
But
so
like,
you would
because
really
I'm
wouldn't know where they
also
were.
frantically then looking for these because I need to find them by a certain time and I need to know where they are. But like not knowing where they are, not remembering where they are, like it added so much to it. So I wonder if there are any of those little sort of Easter eggs throughout the set of Mid-Century Modern that are helping to, I guess, to encourage or to support the actors in their experience on the set.
Okay, I have a question for you. Did you ever not find the cigarettes?
No, but that's because we were working with a very like limited set, like limited things. So it was always around somewhere that I was able to find.
It's in about 6 or 10 different places.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yes, Easter eggs are very important, especially in this era of binge watching and rewatching. In fact, I'm wearing Easter eggs myself.
Are you?
I've got my little bracelet here. You can see it says Dandy here to remind me. And I have my little neckerchief here and my pin from the Gustav Kaibart gallery show at the Getty that I was just at. And he was sort of a l'enfant terrible, right? He was a painter and helped support the Impressionists and had rented a gallery where they all first showed when they were all rejected by the main art shows in Paris back in 1870 or something.
You meant enfant terrible.
Enfant terrible, yes.
Oh my
That's what I say.
Just kidding.
He pronounced it fine. I knew what he meant.
But thank you for saying it correctly. So I was so inspired, I had to get the pin of his painting of the man looking out the window. That's actually his brother. And they actually had little ascots for sale. So he was a rake and a bachelor. So all his whole life, he did have a woman partner later in his life, but their nature of their relationship was kind of unknown. But he had this sort of bachelor life. But I digress. The actors. So Easter eggs on the set. Tons and tons of Easter eggs because this was a show, because it was for Max and David, this was a show that I felt really strongly about really going the extra mile because I came from doing a different show called Night Court on NBC, which was a different kind of show, mostly about courtrooms, judges' chambers, warehouses, alleys, basements, and storerooms, which I can do and to a very high degree. But they're not pretty, and I like doing pretty things.
Yeah.
And I knew the show was going to give me the opportunity to do pretty things, pretty sets. So we really, really went all out, and I overspent. Sorry, Hulu. But in the end, the set has gotten a lot of attention. Architectural Digest came and did a tour.
Wow.
Which they normally don't do for television shows. So I've seen it done for movies. And they did a video tour that I was a part of, and I pointed out all the Easter eggs for them. But I knew it was going to be a challenge to really make it a work of art. So there are many Easter eggs. Like I created a backstory for Bunny, which is Nathan Lane's character. His family actually owns a lingerie shop, a chain of lingerie shops called the Bunny Hutch. And so in my mind, I created an organization of national lingerie store owners or business owners. and every year they hand out awards to different businesses of who did the best. So I created the, what did I call it? The Busty or something. I don't know what it's called, but it was based on a bra on I created an award that got handed out at like an event.
Yeah.
So, and now I didn't just create one. I created the one that's the old style.
Okay.
That was not politically correct. That was a little 3D printed bra on top of a pillar of acrylic. That was the award they handed out. But then the politically correct one is they took away the 3D bra and they created something in pink on a flat piece thing, whatever. So there's this whole award story that's not even talked about in the script. When we did Linda Lavin's bedroom at her own home, on her desk, she had a glass full of like readers that you buy at the drugstore in case she lost one. So I did that for her desk in her bedroom, and did the makeup and the jewelry I thought she would have, because she was downsizing from a big house. She was kind of crammed into one little bedroom. So I made it all her special things, like this beautiful painting or this makeup vanity she had. So stuff was a little mismatched, but sort of all worked together, and there was a lot of it schmooshed in there. But then for the main set, it was all about getting the balance right. So in the main set, I actually have a sofa shaped very much like this. Not as finely made as this piece from your company.
Thank you very much.
Insert company name.
Insert Kimberly Denman Incorporated.
Thank you. But I bought something similar off of Wayfair.
Certainly not the same quality.
No, not the same quality, because it was $1,000, and it was
certainly
big.
not the same price.
No, but a value for the inch. So, but I went to Thomas Lavin, and God, what is the fabric I bought? I can't think of the company name, but I bought $3,000 worth of fabric.
Amazing.
But to transform it,
Yeah.
but instead of, I mean, if I had, I could have bought something like this.
Yeah.
But not for $1,000. So
I would have been very happy to make one for you. But okay,
not,
you prefer going
not for $1,000. We'll go for we'll
Yes,
talk about
Hulu,
if there's a
please up
season
the-
2. If there's a season 2, I'm going to bring a truck down here. I'm going to take those chairs, that chair, that bench, that table. We'll
Perfect.
talk.
We'll talk.
We'll
And
talk.
the day bed. You must take the day bed.
The day bed, yes.
Yeah.
So
you did use that fabric on the set, though.
I
notice that.
did.
You did?
I did. So we do tricks like that. Like about $1,000 sofa, put $3,000 worth of fabric on it. Or there's the awards I created. But also, like in the kitchen, it's a fully kitted out kitchen.
Yeah.
The refrigerator works so we can store food in there properly for actors if food's part of a scene. To get that mid-century vibe, we have an old-fashioned like flare design range, which is the one with the glass ovens on top.
Yeah.
And actually, a friend of mine who's another set decorator, Amy Feldman, had just bought a house, and they were taking this out because the stove didn't meet code or something anymore because it's gas. So we bought it from her and hauled it down to the set and kind of refurbished the chrome and freshened it up. And then there's other things like must be 1,000 drawers in the kitchen. Every one is dressed to be in that kitchen.
Wow.
There's a spice drawer. There's a utensil drawer. There's a linen drawer. There's a saran wrap, foil wrap drawer.
Yeah.
There's a drawer with all the teas in it. There's a drawer with the coffee pods. There's a drawer for the platters. There's a drawer for the big pots. It's all
amazing.
kitted out.
So
when you're looking for your pack of cigarettes, you open any drawer in that set in any room, and I guarantee it's dressed.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It takes a lot of effort and detail and also budget to do that. But that's something that's so nice for an actor to have, because you're in the kitchen. You're in your kitchen.
Yeah.
This is where you live, and you can just live in it. And the scene, there was
Thank God for Sur La Table. So
there was
those Frenchies.
Yeah.
Those Frenchies.
There was a scene that we saw where they were in the kitchen, and they were all also like eating breakfast.
Right.
And so they were like bagels and cream cheese.
Yeah.
And I think Matt
But
Bomer
beautifully
had
plated.
an apple.
Beautifully plated, because I helped the prop department.
True.
Yes.
Stunning. And everyone was just actually just like eating.
Yeah, they look like
Like totally natural.
Yeah, just, I mean, it felt so natural. It felt like you were just sitting in somebody's kitchen.
Of course, the piano is a live piano, I mean, perfectly tuned because they're all musicians.
Right.
And then we have a painting of Linda done by her husband that hangs on the set. He gifted it to us.
Wow.
After she passed, which was very nice. So there's tons of Easter eggs. I hate handing over a set that's not completely as complete as it could be.
Well, the art also on that set is
Well, I went shopping down at the Brewery Art Show this year because I can get affordable pieces of art for $500 to $1,000 by really creative people. I found one artist, Gary Dennison. I'd have to look that up. I walked into his gallery at the brewery, and it was all paintings of swimming pools. And what do you have in Palm Springs is swimming pools. So I bought 3 little canvases to make a triptych from him. They're all swimming pools from Palm Springs that he painted.
Oh, great.
So, but all great art.
Yeah.
All great art. Really real art.
and you have that photo of was it by Herb Ritz, right?
Herb Ritz, because Max Muchnick's husband, Eric Hyman, was married to Herb early on when he was much younger. And when Herb died so prematurely, when we used to die like that all the time, Eric became the chairman of the Herb Ritz Foundation. So the only way we were able to afford a Herb Ritz was the fact that, Eric was able to get that for us.
It's fantastic.
But it gives it authenticity, like
Right.
a gay man of that age would have that level of art.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
Even in the pilot, we had to review the art to kind of change some stuff out so it would be more authentic. I mean, when we come back, praying for a second season, I'll replace some more of the art.
Oh, I have one more question. Is there anything that you cut a corner on?
Oh, I can't. That's not my department.
Oh, okay. All right, we can avoid that question. That's fine.
So to be more technical, one of the big thing about being in LA is the amount of craftsmen that are working in LA, and the stories that a lot of them was because of the film industry. So do you use a lot of?
Oh, yes. I rely heavily on the craftspeople in Los Angeles, which we're real lucky to have. Like I said, was inspired by Melinda Ritz and her going out into the showrooms because I can find more authentic things. Like if I was doing a 1-hour crime drama, where they have sets and sets and sets, and you're just trying to fill a set that's on location somewhere, and it's just a regular apartment. So you can go get, a handful of regular stuff, kitchen stuff from the prop house, or a sofa or a chair that's going to be a very sort of utilitarian but kind of fits the style. But we're doing an aspirational, a very more elevated look that we're trying to convey. So to your question about money, much to the chagrin of many people who hire me, I like to buy the authentic thing. Now, many of the shops are very kind and extend a designer discount to me and other things, which I appreciate. But I love like going to Nikki Kehoe and to the home goods part that they have. I love going to the PDC. I go to a lot of the shops for inspiration. I love going into Thomas's Lavin shop for inspiration. I love going to Holly Hunt's. Sometimes I've been known to pop into Martin Lawrence Ballard's shop.
Wow. Or to Kimberly Denman, where you get the inspiration
I'm
for
here
fabric.
at many evenings. The furniture looks much better at night.
It's not the furniture.
We're
that
editing
is
that
better
part
at
out.
night.
That part's getting cut out.
No, but I'm inspired. Like even coming here to a party, I'm totally inspired because it's like a classic salon of beautiful furnishings. Like everything's so many houses and so many places that people live are filled with so many beautiful pieces. It's like a trophy house. It's so fantastic. So I do rely on, the creativity that just pulses through this city. And even when I'm going into the prop house, which I love going to because a prop house like Universal or Warner Brothers has decades of history behind it.
Right.
And decades of choices that other people made that I rely on. They used to have these gorgeous Baccarat opera torchieres that were 11 feet tall that they had bought. Someone had bought in the 20s, brought back from Europe. And the lore was that they had been made for the Russian Tsar and for the Summer Palace or something. And not all of them were delivered when the Russian Revolution happened and the royal family was assassinated. So 2 or 3 of them floated around Europe for years after that, till 2 of them finally ended up in the Warner Brothers prop house. And finally they became too valuable to put into sets. And they sold them at auction for, I think, $1 million a piece.
Whoa.
But they were gorgeous and just kind of stood there in the corners for years and years and years. But you can see them they're in the Red Shoe Diaries. They were in some Charlton Heston movie called Omega Man. I think the last time they're seen is in 1984. But
oh, wow.
I rely on these choices made by people who are long gone to find these little treasures. Like I found a crystal decanter for bourbon or whiskey or whatever in the shape of a prancing horse, which you can find on the internet now, but it's a very poor, clunky copy. This is a very finely detailed piece of art. But because someone made that choice, I don't know when, way before me, there it was on this random shelf in this prop house in 2025 for me to pick from.
Wow.
So I'm so lucky because my career is built on what I've learned or what's knowledge has been given to me by a lot of people before me, but also people that I don't know. My choices get informed because I'm working in this industry that's been built on over the decades on what other people have done to make magic on the screen.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's also, you're doing it for others, for the people who are coming after you as
that
well.
I will never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's really heartwarming.
Yeah.
Peter,
it's a legacy. It's kind of a legacy.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Peter has a heart. Just kidding. That was just kidding.
Bop, 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 like the Tin Man. Where is it? I should have I usually have a little pin that has a little tiny heart to remind me.
You're like one of the sweetest people I know.
Oh, dear. Thank God you didn't know me before.
I met you at just the right time.
Yes.
And to be fair,
nicely seasoned.
You met me at just the right time.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to move into there are 3 questions that we ask for all of our guests.
Okay, good.
First question is, what is the messiest place in your home?
Well, my home looks like Grandma's garage sale on acid. So I would have to say my bedside table is very messy. Yeah.
What is it cluttered with? Everything?
Everything.
Okay.
Books, notebooks, pens, spare eyeglasses, a bottle of water, Vicks Vapor Rub.
I have that on my nightstand too.
Various creams for nighttime. Little
objets
d'art.
Yeah. That's actually, you just described my nightstand perfectly.
Because I actually have two big bookcases on the side of my bed.
Ooh, cool.
That goes up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, that's just a huge nightstand. It's no longer a nightstand.
Listen,
it's actually a metro rack. It's a rolling metro rack from something or other.
I have a very small nightstand, and mine also is like.
You need bigger.
I know, I do. Well, I need a bigger house. But for my nightstand is like also a stack of books and a notebook and a bunch of pens, crystals, Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yes.
Vaseline, because you always need it. You put it on your lips before you go to bed. I put it here before I go to bed.
Yes.
It's good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
She pointed to your eyes.
That's
yes.
good though.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I pointed. I pointed to my under eyes.
It's too late.
Yes.
It's too late for me. But
for an audio medium, I put it here.
I actually have an
Jeepers creepers.
I love that you use obscure words. I also have an auxiliary table.
Oh yeah.
So that I have, if I have to get up in the middle of the night to pish, there's eye drops, cologne, and tissues on the auxiliary table.
Oh, okay, fair. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. No one's given the answer nightstand yet, and so I appreciate your honesty on that. That's great. Yeah. Okay, second question. When you first walk into a space, or actually for set decorating, I'm curious about this.
You can say space.
Yeah. What is the first thing that you notice?
I automatically catalog the entire room in my mind. Like I do a snapshot.
For a budget?
No budgets here. No budgets here.
You just see
Okay, so is it an
yeah.
empty room or is it a full room?
Either. So,
Well, it's different for both. If it's
for a filled room, you go in and you sort of make
I'm scanning.
Yeah.
Who's the friend? Who's the enemy? Who's the frenemy?
Oh.
Where's the Diet Coke? And where is the food coming from?
Perfect. And then in an empty room.
I'll catalog it immediately.
Really?
And for me, I'll notice what are the flaws to me, or what are the good. I guess I should say.
Right.
If I was a glass, some days I'm a glass half full. Some days I'm a glass half empty. So if it's a half full day, I'll go, oh, this is nice. What are the nice things? And if it's half empty day, I'll go, God, this is shit.
Yeah.
But never here.
Quick
It's
to say,
always
oh God, I
gorgeous
hate
here.
that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And your glass has always been full here.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true. Keep your Diet Coke full for
Yes.
sure. Last question.
Okay.
Oh yeah. What is your favorite place in your home or on a set that you've designed?
I love curling up on the couch, on the sofa, with either a little cashmere or a little fur throw, with a good book, maybe a Diet Coke, maybe a tea, maybe some snacks nearby, or maybe it's a pile of magazines. Like I love to go through magazines, and I rip out all the ads, and then I look at the magazine.
What do you have left?
Well, today, not much.
Not much.
Front cover,
Yeah.
back cover.
Yeah.
I mean, not
Back
really.
cover. No,
Back
I
cover
still.
has
I still do paper magazines.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I love paper magazines.
What's your favorite magazine right now?
Oh, I couldn't say. I couldn't say. I can't play favorites.
Okay.
And I would say my favorite thing on a set right now is for MCM. It's either the back corner, when you walk up the steps past the piano, there's a weird chair I found tucked away at Warner Brothers on the 3rd floor. It looks like a Thai warrior suit of armor, but it's shaped in a chair.
Ooh.
Which, totally weird. Like how
Right.
do you, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, who the hell bought this?
Yeah.
What show was it for? Like, I got to think about who was the one, probably a gay, who bought this. Could have been anybody else, though. But it was really the perfect thing that when you go into these Palm Springs homes, there's a weird weird piece of furniture like that.
Right.
You know, that's obscure.
Yeah.
Like that.
But that's something that would be really tasteful rather than just like a full size like marble panther or something.
Well, if I could find one of those, I would use it. But also, I was saying, I forgot to complete this thought, so I don't know if you'll insert it, but I did shop at a store in Palm Springs called Reside.
Oh, yes.
A tiny little store. Tiny. Because when I went out there, there's a lot of great thrift stores, but I only found one. I mean, there used to be better new store shopping, and like I said, I love Dragonettes, but I also found this tiny little store with more current things that were in my price bracket. I bought these beautiful mini barrel chairs that looked like the fabric on the daybed there, and I bought a vase and some really great pillows they had. So I kind of stocked up there because it had that whole Palm Springs vibe.
Yeah, and the two of them who owned the store, they were sitting next.
Yeah,
to
they were
each
sitting.
other.
Yes, they were
Or
sitting
next to
beside
us,
you.
yeah.
Yes,
that was wonderful. They were really cool.
they're very cool.
Really, really neat. Well, we do have to wrap up, and we also have to eat lunch.
Yes.
Because Laurent made lunch as he usually does for our guests.
Yay.
So we have that to look forward to. So do your last plug that we can cut in and make a reel on Instagram, and everyone go watch
about the
NCM.
show.
Yes,
About
the show.
the show.
Okay, don't forget on Hulu, all the episodes drop on March 28th for Mid-Century Modern with Nathan Lane, Nathan Lee Graham, and Matt Bomer. It's a beautiful show. Come and watch it.
Yeah, great job. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
It's been
you.
fun.
Okay, let's eat.
Let's eat.